Hey guys, popping on today to talk about why freelance rates are different than on-staff rates, or what the hourly rate you would charge as a freelancer is different than what the hourly rate or the hourly rate equivalent would be if you were salaried. I think some people think, well, gee, if I'm a freelancer, I'm going to have to take a major pay cut because obviously people who are on staff get so much more. And that is absolutely not the case. Generally, a freelancer will get paid more for doing work than someone on staff will. And there are a couple of different reasons for that. First of all, your salary, on-staff salary, has a couple of different things factored in. An employer usually factors in the fact that they have to pay for your health insurance, so they don't pay you as much. They have to pay for maybe 401k match, so they don't pay you as much. I think a lot of us think of these perks as things that are added onto the salary, when really the way that businesses figure them is they don't have to pay you as much because they give you these additional perks. And that's quite frankly just the way businesses operate. No business is giving anything away for free. And that's why some of those perks are part of negotiations, right? We can't give you a higher salary, but we can give you these perks. It all goes into what a company factors in, what the grand total cost of you is. So a freelancer is not getting paid health insurance. A freelancer is not getting paid 401k match. A freelancer is not getting all of those added benefits. Now, of course, we can take care of that on our own, and health insurance, that kind of thing, we can deduct. But because of that, a company can afford to pay a freelancer more. A company is, and also because we pay, at least in the States, we pay our own self-employment tax. People pay us more for that because they don't have to pay taxes on us, so they end up paying us more. There's also the fact that companies are willing to pay more for the flexibility of working with a freelancer versus having to hire someone on staff. Bringing someone on staff is a very, very expensive undertaking, and not just like salary or perks. There's the cost of recruiting, of finding someone. There are the literal, I was going to say manpower, no, human power hours of recruiting and interviewing and reviewing applications. And then once someone is on staff, there are many hours of training that's taken away from people who are doing other jobs. They have to train the new person, and then the new person is also not up to speed yet. So the actual cost of bringing someone on staff is huge. Just gigantic. So a company, and then too, if that person doesn't work out, then the costs of having to let that person go are high. So a company is willing to pay more to work with a freelancer because they have that flexibility. They don't have to bring you on staff. They don't have to do a full onboarding with you. They don't have to go through all of those things. And then of course too, they don't have to deal with potentially offboarding you because you're working with them on a project to project basis potentially, or even if it's retainer or you're contracting for them and you're going into the office for a couple hours. They don't have that same level of investment, and so they're willing to pay a freelancer more because they have that flexibility. Because when the project is done, if there's nothing more for you to do, and of course you should always be repitching your client, but if there's nothing more, they can just say, okay, great, we'll be in touch if there's anything more. They don't have to go through the full offboarding process and the termination process, and then potentially having to pay unemployment and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot cheaper for a company to work with a freelancer, and as such, and cheaper in a lot of ways and easier in a lot of ways for a company to work with a freelancer. So a company is willing to pay more to a freelancer for comparable hours as someone on staff. So this idea of like, well, I get more flexibility as a freelancer, and so therefore I guess I just won't make as much money. It's completely wrong. As a freelancer, you should be making more per hour than you were making on staff, or someone who's on staff at a comparable level is making. You should be making at least 20% more per hour, if not above and beyond that. Now, obviously, there are lots of things to factor into, project prices, hourly, all that kind of thing. But if you are thinking about, I want to get started as a freelancer, but I'm worried that I'm going to have to charge a low rate so the companies will work with me, put that out of your head. That's not at all how it works. Companies will pay you more per hour than your on-staff counterparts. And if you are listening to this and you're going, oh, gee, well, I've always made less, you've been underselling yourself. You should be making more. That's a little tip for you. So I know that sometimes, often, the financial concerns are strong because, well, look, we've got mortgages, right? Mortgages and rent and food and dependents and all that kind of thing. But the actual rates you make should be a lot more than what you're making on staff. That's not a trade-off that you are making. In fact, when you go to freelance for full-time, as our Freelance Success Framework students know, that shouldn't be there aren't a lot of, well, I just have to settle for this. There aren't a lot of trade-offs. As long as you are following our system, pitching regularly, following up regularly, as long as you are doing that and working with your clients effectively, you should be making more than you were ever making on staff for doing the similar work. So, and then plus you get freedom and flexibility. Sounds like a win to me. Even if you want to be freelancing part-time and keep your day job, there's still all those elements available to you.